What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Dylan Talks Tone. Welcome to our live Q&A that we do every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. As you will see, I'm by myself. Leslie has a speaking engagement in Las Vegas this week, so she is out of town all week long. So it is just me. As always, these are ad-free. Every Thursday night we do these live streams and they're always ad-free. So the way you can support the channel, if you are so inclined, is use a super chat to ask a question or not. Doesn't matter. You can just ask a question if you want. Put a bunch of question marks in front of it. Since it's me, I don't have her to run the computer for me tonight. So make sure that it's very easy for me to see your guitar question. That would be awesome. That'll make it easier. And then also, we will also do, we got some Patreon questions that came in, a couple of those. And one of those is what the thumbnail is about, so we'll get to that in just a minute. Let's see, let me look at my notes really quick. The other thing is, there are links in the description, companies that support the channel. So if you use those links, that is a way to support the channel. Even if you don't buy anything, click around, look around stuff. There's guitar-related stuff down there. There's also off-topic stuff related down there. Also at Dylan Talks Tone, we got a bunch of new stuff. We got a bunch of custom stuff. We're actually going to be introducing some more stuff this weekend. It's pretty neat. We've got a bunch of custom covers. We've got, and I'm going to try something new here in the next couple weeks, so I think you'll dig that. Anyway, so there we go. Yeah, a bunch of fun stuff, including the new capacitor test kit. So we've been selling a ton of those. Looks like we have a super chat from, that's the wrong button. Ad free is for me from Dave. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate that very much. So I'll tell you what, let's just jump straight into, and the other thing is I'm crate training the puppy. And so that's why we're sitting where we're sitting tonight. And he is in rare form, so there may be a couple of little redirecting the puppy distractions as we go, because I'm actually by myself. Brianna's working, everybody else is gone. It's just me and the zoo that we have here. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get into our Patreon questions. And the first one comes from Rob, and this is where our subject for the evening comes from. Rob, hello, Leslie and Dylan. He didn't know it was just going to be me. When you practice/play for fun, do you use a backing track, a drum pedal, or a metronome, or do you use a looper to record a chord progression and then play over it? I'm just curious. So this is an interesting question. So this is where the thumbnail came from, and I'd like to get thoughts from you also. How much do you actually practice, right? There's a difference between like picking up the guitar and just noodling around and actually practicing. How much do you actually practice? And what is your scheme for that? Get in the comments and let me know, and we'll talk about that as we go. I'll tell you what my practicing scheme is. Now, a lot of it has to do with the fact that I'm planning for content, like a lot of times, you know. But most of the time, when I practice, I actually play along to music. Zeba, come here. I play along to music. And so when I'm doing that, basically what I'll do, I got this suggestion from a guy a long time ago who's a really good musician. And one of the things he told me is if you can once a month take a record, like any record, it doesn't matter. It doesn't even have to be guitar music. But it will train your ear to play along with the music. It doesn't matter whether you can play every note at first, but if you can just let the record play from beginning to all the way to end, to get your ear, he said by day 15 or 20 of doing this with a different record, it'll really start to train your ear about what you're hearing, timing-wise, and also tone too. So like pitch, so like being able to pick out chords and understanding chord theory and all that kind of stuff. It's like a practical way to learn song structure and to do all the things basically to just play along with a record. And it teaches you tempo because it teaches kind of all the things at once without being boring. So that's typically what I do. If I'm practicing, I'm usually playing along with music. I don't usually use any of the weird stuff like, the positive grid thing where it's in the background or whatever. I don't usually do that. Typically, a lot of times I'll have headphones in with one ear off, like that, like over ear headphones with one ear off, and I'll listen to music and I'll play along with it. That's usually that's kind of what my regime is. Yeah, it just kind of teaches me all the things at once. Let's see here. What are other people saying? Dylan Talk Zoo. Dude, that's for real, man. In the Dylan Talks Alone. Oh my God, you guys are awesome. Yeah, in the off-topic hour, I'll give you a rundown. Practice. Who has time for practice? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my puppy is 4 months, and he's nuts. I practice some of my set for gigs, especially new songs, but I gig a lot, and I also jam to tracks to warm up and to relax. Yeah, that's cool. I do practice a lot. I'm in a paid online guitar academy, which pretty much has daily new content to practice. Those are really, if you can get into a good one, those are really cool. I've had a few want to sponsor the channel, and I haven't found any that I really think are cool that I would actually suggest, but they are out there, and they're very, very cool. And what I like about them is what you said in your comment, is that there's new content all the time. And so it doesn't get boring, and you feel like you're actually, even if it doesn't feel like you're making progress, like, oh, I can play this amazing thing and I couldn't play it last month. I just think the practicality of learning that way is really cool. I really dig it a lot. I should practice a lot more. I play, write, and mostly use drum software or a metronome app that has the sound of a drum. I hate clicks. I hate clicks too. Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Dave redissected a song today. That's cool. Let's see. I've been playing the preloaded P90 humbucker pickguard Strat lately. It sounds way good. Gets anywhere I need to go musically. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that very, very much. Yeah. Trying to manage all the things at once. Batching it for a week is tough when you have the whole zoo to manage and make all the pickups and shoot all the videos. We had poker night last night, so yeah, we're trying to stay on schedule with everything. Yeah, practicing is a thing, because if you don't do it, it doesn't. I'm not saying you don't get better. I think every minute you spend on the guitar gets you better, but you do stagnate if you don't practice, right? Zeba, come. Hey. He's over there. The other dog's in the other room, and if I let the other dog out, it will be chaos. It will be absolute chaos in here, and we cannot have that during a live stream, so we are going to manage it the best we can. Okay, anyway, yeah, if you don't, Zeba, come. If you don't practice, you end up just stagnating. You end up kind of playing the same thing over and over again, and people laugh at me because I do that, but honestly, I do it in videos on purpose. What I play for fun is not what I play in videos. That's just kind of how that works. I practice scales, arpeggios, and lots of right hand techniques several times a week And I also like playing bass to old 60s and 70s soundtracks. Okay, that's cool. Let's see. My practice session is doing one lesson from a daily lead guitar and daily rhythm guitar practice books. Then I work on mechanics, and then I learn something new, and then I jam out. Wow, so this is really cool. To be honest with you, I'm really stoked, and I don't want to say surprised, because I know that our audience who watches all these videos are actual guitar enthusiasts, and not just forum jumpers. I really do think it's really cool, though, that people are really trying to play. Because sometimes you can nerd out about guitar stuff so much that you kind of forget that we're actually playing guitar. So this is very cool. I think this is very, very neat. It's kind of why I wanted to have the conversation, because there's so many different ways to do it, obviously. Van Shank celebrates 47 months of membership. Dylan, you need a dog sitter for during live streams. Well, I usually have one. Usually it's no big deal. Usually it's because, we have enough people around here to manage everything. Like on Tuesdays, it's no big deal. When we shoot videos, it's no big deal. But we have a weird situation this week. And, puppies are puppies. Like, it just takes a little bit more time. Zeba, come. Zeba, come. When he goes in my office, it always gets a little scary. He'll come out of there with bubble wrap and all kinds of stuff. I quit for 15 years and I just got back into it about 2 years ago. That's really cool. Zeba, come. Got his little vibrate collar on, so. Bed. All right, cool. You just hang out right there. For bass, I use a Chuck Rainey bass. Oh yeah, Chuck Rainey bass method. And let's see what else. Tons of different online lesson series. Yeah, online stuff is really cool. And I like the idea of, and I hate the fact that everything is a subscription now. But I don't remember who said it earlier, but the whole subscription thing is kind of cool in this context because it does keep you in fresh content, and I like that. I think that's cool. All right, let's see. She's not even on the Velociraptor phase. The super chats need to ramp up so the fence is ready on time. Oh, dude, let me tell you what. The fence is coming in like the second week of December, so we still have a few weeks away from that. Dogs like to play at the time that they like to be quiet. He does, but so we're crate training, and I just got this really cool crate, and it's over here. And he's actually like really chill, and he'll stir around and do some stuff. I put a Kong, I froze some food in a Kong, and so I put that in there a couple of times, and you just kind of getting him used to it. I don't lock him in the crate yet. We're just leaving it open so he can go in and out. Like, he just went in there and laid down. He's good for probably the whole rest of the live stream. So yeah, it's great. Let's see. My brain doesn't work quite the same in my 40s as it does in my 20s. Yeah, have you guys seen that video? There's a really good video that Rick Beato just did about, and I guess he got a lot of hate for it, but he's right about how younger players are more creative, and then you do get to a state in your life where your brain does different things. That's how humans are. Like, you use different parts of your brain for different stuff, and some of it is just recalling stuff that you've learned, and then your creative side of your brain kind of like slows down a little bit, and then you rely on recall. And that video was really good. He was talking about how a lot of the good songwriters wrote stuff when they were in their mid to late 20s. And, it's not necessarily a rule, but when you look at the majority of good stuff, people wrote when they were younger. Of course, there's a lot of people that wrote stuff when they're older too, but it was a really interesting video. Apparently he got a lot of hate for it, but I was like, it's something that I think we don't want to admit, right? That we're Heck, man, we get old. Never underestimate neuroplasticity and stuff like that. Yeah, dude, I tell you what, exercising your brain is something that is really important. It's funny, I don't want to get too off topic here. We'll talk off topic stuff later, but that's one of the reasons why I took up fountain pens because um, it, I don't want to say it forces me, but when I buy a new pen, it encourages me to write. And writing triggers in my brain creativity and routine that I otherwise may not stop and think about. So like if I so I have a journal right here and I have a couple of pens and I sit here and I write like after this live stream I'm right in the middle of some old Denzel Washington movie and I will sit here and write and play with the dog and whatever and words will just come out of my head onto the paper and what'll happen is um, I have another notebook that's like more refined stuff so it's just not random garbage and it's actually based on a calendar. It's like a planner. So video ideas will come out and little phrases from video ideas will come out and then maybe I'll see a shape and be inspired to do a pickup cover design or whatever, but always just kind of like outputting little ideas. And then I do this as a routine. And so my brain is like constantly working. And I just think that's really cool because it keeps you creative. And I think if there's a way that we could do that, all of us, in some way, it doesn't have to be guitar stuff. But is there a way that you can trigger creativity by whatever activity it might be? I don't know what it is. For me, it used to be riding motorcycles. I would just get out, or bicycles, just get out and like meditate on a bicycle, and that would do that for me. But that's what this is now, and it's just such a cool thing. And I think if you were really able to trigger your brain, I know this is getting all like, we're not talking about guitar tones specifically, but when you start talking about encouraging creativity, encouraging practice routine, those things are important. And the whole neuroplasticity thing, remembering your brain or, making your brain work. Yeah. Let's see. Physically writing things down helps me to remember much more than typing things on my computer. Yeah, absolutely. Leslie uses an iPad, and she uses Evernote or something, and she's really organized. So she'll sit and take notes for stuff. And if she wrote a note 2 years ago, it's color coded and got little tabs and super organized and all that kind of stuff. But I have to do it with paper. I have to write it actually out on paper. And my daughter's the same way. Brianna's the same way. She has an iPad that she uses for art, but she also has a notepad. She has a notepad for sketches and drawing and a notepad for writing. And then she has another one that's just journals. Like she has all kinds of we are not short on stationery around here because we all really do write a lot. But to answer the title of the stream, right now I'm not practicing because I pinched a nerve, so I could barely hold a guitar at the moment. Oh, dog, man, that sucks. Yeah, that's a bummer. I practice for 2 months a year when I start thinking of joining a band, and then when things change, I play ever so often. Oh, interesting. Well, yeah, because you gotta rehearse, right? For sure. My issue is my brain has always been more analytical than creative. Creativity only comes out when I'm able to shut off the analytical part, which is hard. That's where writing has fixed it for me. Because I obviously doing what I do, I'm super technical, very analytical, very and I'm very efficiency. Like I'm not gonna expend energy in areas where I don't need to expend it if I don't have to. It's not a laziness thing. It's a I can be productive in this area if I don't do these things. If I can make this process more efficient and save time and energy, then it will make me more efficient in this other area. So I get super over analytical about things. And then, so, but the writing thing does that for me when I just sit down, and sometimes it's just random words that come out of my mouth or out of my pen. But then sometimes they turn into something. And that's how I shut my analytical brain off. I also have been sleeping a lot better because of that, because it just gets stuff out of my head and it doesn't. I'm doing a lot more productive stuff during the day and a lot less waking up at 3 in the morning and coming up with an idea in the middle of the night. Like, it's just a way more productive way for me to get ideas out. Handwriting notes is scientifically proven to help you remember it more than if you type it. Yeah, I believe that. I 100% believe that. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. I've just lost all my give a shit. You know, I get that. I get that. I get that. We can get in that zone too. And I think that will affect your practice and your creativity on your guitar too, where you just aren't driven to pick it up. You know, where you just, because nothing matters really, or whatever that might be, whether that's whatever's going on in the world or whatever's going on in your family or work-life balance or whatever. And then you just get into a sort of an apathetic mindset, and it's hard to be creative. It's hard to drive yourself to practice when you get into that zone, for sure. Jim Morse, I play a couple hours every day, but I don't practice anymore. I should, I guess. Yeah, I mean, and I guess this is why I want to have this conversation, because when you start to think about it, you're like, wait a minute, I'm actually not practicing. How productive am I? This question came up on Patreon, but I've been thinking about it too because, you know, like I got a couple other hobbies that I practice a lot, and you know, when I go to the range, you know, it's 25 cents every time. I'm throwing quarters. You know what I mean? So, well, with one, and with the other one, it's $1.50. You know what I mean? Like every time I pull the trigger. So if I want to practice, I need to have a plan. I want to go there and be super intentional about what I'm trying to get better at, the skill that I'm trying to refine. And I was thinking about that the other day with the guitar stuff. I don't do that enough with guitar. And it's important because we all don't have hours and hours. Now, if you have a couple hours a day to play, that's awesome. But my guess would be that the larger percentage of us don't have a couple hours a day. We may have a couple hours a week. We may have 15 minutes a day, maybe, right? Like in real life. You know, a lot of us. So does that mean that we have to like make sure that that time is more efficient if we actually want to progress towards something? Pretty interesting, right? Having a guitar set up in the place that you hang out most is important. This is a really good point, Mike. You know, so I have a couple of those zither stands, and I have an acoustic guitar usually. Well, not right now. I have a Strat and a Les Paul. I have two of them, and I have a Strat and a Les Paul on them right now. But usually I have an acoustic guitar and an electric guitar hanging on those stands, and I have my Positive Grid Spark Mini under the little end table next to that guitar stand that's got the electric on it. That's usually what and actually on the other side of the chair, I have my Kemper plugged into a set of monitors. And so, but the acoustic is really awesome. If you can have an acoustic on a stand or hanging on a wall in a semi-high traffic area of your guitar, of your house, that really is awesome, because if you can get ready to, you're getting ready to go and you have like a minute and a half before you have to get out the door, or you're waiting for coffee to brew in the morning for a few minutes, or there's always like these little 30-second, minute and a half, 2-minute little time periods where you're like, I have not enough time to sit down and dedicate it to something, but it's time. So that's to me what an acoustic guitar hanging on the stand is for. I literally will be walking out the door and I'll have an extra 2 minutes or a minute and a half or whatever. Usually when we're getting ready, we always have this funny, it's kind of a funny routine, but Leslie brings a water bottle with her everywhere, right? So we're getting ready to go. I'm always ready early. That's kind of just my thing. I'm always ready early. She's like, okay, I'm almost ready. I have to. And she always has the same kind of like little routine. She has to, grab her purse, fill up her water bottle. I don't know. There's usually like 2 or 3 things that she has to do. And so I know that I have like this minute and a half or 2 minutes, and I will literally pick up my acoustic guitar and play it for those little couple minutes while I'm waiting on her to do that stuff, right? Like it's not that she's making me late or anything. It's just I know that's her routine, so I can plan that in a couple minutes before we leave. And it's really helpful. Like it's just a quick centering thing to do. I practice 1 to 2 hours, but I have that luxury because I'm retired. Yeah, and it's funny too. I do this for a living and I have way less time to practice than I would like. Yeah. Yes, you have to keep the instrument out. Even violin teachers said that. Just a matter of having a safe space. And the other thing too is, and don't overthink this too much, right? If your humidity is anywhere between 40 and 60%, which is a pretty big range, you'll never have to worry about your setup on your guitar, right? Like if you live in Arizona, you might have to worry about it a little bit, and keeping it in a case is kind of nicer, but don't worry about it too much. Have a guitar that you dedicate to having out, right? And even if it's a cheaper one, right? Even if you have really great guitars that you want to keep in the case and you don't want them to be out all the time, and you don't, want to subject them to accidentally having, the dog knock it over or whatever, that's cool. Even if you just have a Squier Affinity beating around the living room. The one in the thumbnail, I have a couple of those close carbon fiber guitars. And are they the best sounding guitar in the whole planet Earth? No, absolutely not. But they're fun. They're really fun and they're really easy and you don't have to worry about them. And you know what I mean? Like, so have something around that you don't really have to worry about that much. We're not talking about like, this is not your, perfect, about to play Madison Square Garden, my tone is perfect kind of setup. This is for practicing, and this is for catching a minute anywhere you can. So yeah, I dig this a lot. Jason says, I have a guitar by me all day long. Since I'm disabled and I can't work, I play when I'm not in pain and I have the energy. Dude, I feel you on that. I am in pain 100% of the time, and some days you just can't. Yep, some days you just can't. Let's see. Yeah, wall hangers are cool. The reason I don't like wall hangers is because I think they take up too much space on your wall. I mean, I have a huge wall, but I just don't. In my old house, I had wall hangers, and I guess in my office I have wall hangers, but that's my shop. That's like my office. But when we moved into this house, I kind of, this was not something Leslie said. It's something I just didn't want gear everywhere, and so I kind of have a couple of dedicated spots for stuff. And I will tell you. If you use the link in the description for Amazon, I think there's a link for them down there. Even if you don't, just use the link in the description for Amazon and go to and type in zither stands. They're expensive. They're like 150 bucks. So they're expensive. But your guitar does not tip over. It's weird. Whatever engineering he's done, they don't tip over. I trust my Les Paul on it. I trust my D28 on it. I trust any of my guitars on them. And they hang, but they stand, and they look like furniture. They're very, very nice, and they come in a bunch of different wood finishes and stuff. He gave me one for a video, and then I bought another one because I love them so much. They're really good. Short scale and mini guitars are great for people with arthritis, degenerative issues with hands and fingers. Yes, that's true. So I have, let's see, what do I have? I have a close carbon fiber, the travel guitar, and I have the McPherson Sable carbon fiber, what do they call it? Anyway, it's their travel acoustic. And I love both of those guitars for that reason, because the short scale is just really nice to play. It's really easy to play. And what's really funny about that is I find myself playing those guitars a lot because they are not a commitment to play. It's just, you can grab a couple minutes on them, and yeah. Can't fault a guy for one or two wall hangers. Guitars can be better looking than most of the ugly people put on their walls too. That's funny. So it's funny that you say that. So we have in our house, we have pretty much all original art in our house. So we have a wall of family, of course. And then I've got one of my tattoo artists from Vegas. I've got some art of his on my wall. One of my artists that endorsed my pickups many years ago. I've got some of her art. That's the Joan Jett in The Office that you see. I also have one of Prince, and I also have one of David Bowie by the same artist. I have an original piece that is Lemmy. That's in my office. And then we have this whole wall behind me. You can't see it here, but there's, I don't know, like 5 pieces. This wall is like 15 feet tall, and so we have a bunch of pieces of original art on here. The kids, my daughter paints and stuff, so yeah, I really love it. 18 wall hooks kept filled. Yeah, dude, that's cool. I love that. I love that a lot. I love that a lot. Let's see, a double neck guitar stand. That would be tough because aren't they both usually a little bit different length? Yeah, that's tough. Gibson did not steal the design from Zither. Those are Zither stands that Zither makes for Gibson. Tony, he's a friend of mine, Tony, the guy that owns it. No, Tony makes those for Gibson, and he also makes them for Taylor, and he makes them for Martin. Yeah, so those are actually, when you see the pictures in the Gibson showroom, those are actually Zither stands made by Zither with the logo on them for Gibson. Yeah, they didn't steal that. I also try to practice standing up. Oh, because all the angles are muscle memory. That's a great point. Sitting down and standing up are two completely different things, especially depending on the guitar, right? So depending on, because it's all the mechanics of, your interaction of your hand with the guitar. That's a really good point. If you're wanting some wall hooks, in the description, I think there is a link to our Amazon store, and I do have on our Amazon store the stuff we use. Do not cheap out on hooks. Your guitar's hanging on the wall. Hang it properly. Make sure you hang it right, but get good ones. We use String Swing here. They've never sponsored us or anything, but that's all I buy is String Swing. They are really, really good for the wall hanging stuff. Yeah. Let's see. My girlfriend hates guitar cases and big amps. The small amps she thinks are cute. That's super funny. String swing or don't hang guitars. Yes. Uh, yes. I think there's certain things you can't cheap out on. And if you're going to hold up your guitar, you know, if you pay $3,000 for a Slash Les Paul, don't buy a cheap Amazon, you know. Oh, they offer bulk discount at Sweetwater. Oh, that's cool. Link in the description for that too. Excellent. No, that's cool. We do have one other Patreon question here tonight that we've not gotten to. Hang on, let me see. Matt says, good evening, Dylan. My old Marshall valve state amp has just developed a low, consistent, repeating noise. Sounds almost like wind buffeting or a helicopter. It's the same noise regardless of anything plugged in or not, channel or knob selection. It doesn't seem like interference or ground issue. I've never worked on any amp. Pointers or resources you know to troubleshoot. I do not know what that is, but it sounds to me like you've got a capacitor failing. Probably either a filter cap, because if it's doing a thing, then you're starting to get some 60 hertz hop in there, or it could be your rectifier. Yeah, so since it's a Marshall valve state, it's got to be well, the preamp's a tube side. Something got hot. Something got hot for sure. In that. Yeah. Let's see. My next step is setting up a nice practice space now that I'm home. Oh, yeah, because you were on the road for a while, right? No, that's cool. I'm not a big tweed fan. I like the regular. I like a black panel fender. That's my favorite colors for an amplifier. I love that silver girl cloth. That's like my favorite. Tweeds are cool, I guess, but it's not my thing. I'm lusting for a Princeton so hard, but I can't justify it. Dude, I love my Princeton Tone Master. I play it all the time as well. I have that kind of my easy setup stuff is my Princeton, but I don't usually use any pedals or anything with it, and my Kemper and my Positive Grid. Awesome. Black panel guts with tweed exterior. Yeah, the colors just don't do it for me. But yeah. Should practice be through headphones? You hear what you're doing a lot better. I don't know that I have an opinion about that. I don't know. What do y'all think? I don't think it matters. I mean, I practice on acoustic a lot, so obviously that doesn't matter. Quick gear question, if you will. Any difference between single coils in series versus a humbucker stacked coils? Yeah, a bunch. So if you have stacked single coils like a noiseless Fender, it's just gonna sound like a dead single coil, like a kind of a flat, boring single coil. If you put two single coils in series, it's gonna sound like a humbucker, but spread apart. It will sound more and more like a humbucker the closer together the pickup gets, but like in a Telecaster, when they're like this far apart, it sort of sounds like a humbucker, but not as much. The distance between them was what really would affect that. Yeah. Oh, you guys are talking about tweeds. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I don't really. If I had a full on studio and I had a place, an actual practice space, like a 20 by 20 practice space, where I could, like a barn or something, where I could have amps and stuff, then I would. But I just don't see the practicality in 2024 of having all that stuff. It just doesn't do it for me. And they don't sound enough better anymore. I mean, I would obviously prefer a wall of tube amps over any modeler for sure. Because it's just fun, right? The smell, the heat of them, the air moving at that high volume, it's super fun. Um, but the practicality just kind of outweighs it for me. I don't, I just don't need all that stuff. Um, I play my MV50 more than my AC30. It's just hassle most of the time with all the cooking times of the tubes, and I don't want to mess it up. Yeah, so your little MV50 is a neat little amp. Those are really cool because they got the little new tube chip in them, and they're a tube, but it works at like 5 volts or something. I can't remember. It's pretty low. Really neat. That's a really neat setup, and they sound really good. Um, and I agree with you. The other reason I like playing what I play is because there's no warm up time, and you don't have to worry about it. You just turn it on and turn it off like it's no big deal, right? Um, I tried the four-way switch thing, and I tell you, I liked it, but I didn't love it. Okay, I got you. That's cool. All right. Uh, Super chat from Dom D says, Dylan, what gauge strings are you using with your D28? UPS dropped off a Martin today, and the 13s are a bit much for me. 13s, that's what I use. I like them. I think that putting 12s on a guitar that comes with 13s kills it. All of my acoustics have 13s on them. I have, well, let me take that back. I got a bunch of acoustics. So my D28 has Stringjoy, Foxwoods, 13 to 56s. My Breedlove has Stringjoy, 13 to 56s. My McPherson Sable full size carbon fiber has 13 to 56s. My McPherson small one has 13 to 56s. And then all of my close guitars, I have 2 close guitars, and those have 12s on them. I am all about 13s on an acoustic, man. I've played 13s on an acoustic for many, many years. I love it. I just I tried 12s on my Breedlove and I tried 12s on my Martin, and I just felt like it just killed what the guitar is to me. Like when I think of a D28, that guitar sounds like that guitar is supposed to sound. And when you make the action too low with the saddle, if you bring the saddle down too far, or if you put 12s on it, to me, it just doesn't do the thing that I want that guitar to do. My Breedlove is the same way. If I put 12s on my Breedlove, or if I brought the saddle down too far, I'm just like, it sucks. I actually brought my saddle down too far on my Breedlove, and I was like, eh. And I got another one and recut it because I was like, this is, yeah. Thanks for the super chat, by the way. Could my guitar pots be the cause of my grounding issues? Probably not. Pots don't typically short out and cause. So here's when we talk about grounding issues, okay? People want to talk about this is an interesting question. Grounding in a guitar doesn't actually cause noise. So let's get this straight, okay? There's no reason to have grounding issues in a guitar. Okay? Let's talk about what that means. Because it's very simple. Your pots and your pickups and your capacitor should all be grounded. No grounding issues. There's no less or more grounded. Okay? If the solder is good, if you have a bad solder, then the resistance goes up and that causes noise. But if you have a good solder joint and your pots and your cap and your pickups are grounded to the same ground that is the output jack, because your guitar is actually grounded through the output jack to the amp. Okay? All grounds terminate with the output jack in a guitar. So and there's no bad ground, good ground, grounding issues with an electric guitar. If the solders are good and those components are grounded, you have no grounding issues. Now, if you have other noise in the guitar, that is 99% of the time coming from outside the guitar. This is a really misunderstood thing. If you have so let's talk specifically about pots. Caps will never go bad. Old caps will drift, but most of the time, caps will not really ever go bad. Pots, when they go bad, will either go open and like completely, because there's a contact wiper in there, and when they wear out, the pressure gets a little iffy, and so they don't make as good a contact, and so they skip and they scratch and they they get dirt in them and they lose contact and the guitar will cut out. Okay. But typically they don't cause more noise except for like crackling in and out. You know what I mean? Like a loose connection. So yeah, that's a pretty simple thing to look at. Let's see. We got another super chat here. From Jono JF. Thanks for the super chat, Jono. Dylan, do that stereo guitar wiring drawing, pickup wired series shut and parallel switch coil open stereo out, thinking center punch stereo out. I wouldn't do a center punch stereo out. I would not do a center punch stereo out. That will sound bad. That pickup is meant to be on or coil split. I would not do a stereo out because the output from both coils is not the same. So it would be a problem. So what I would do is if it was mine and I was going to do a stereo out, I would either use if I was going to do stereo out, I would either use a Thruxton or a Super 8 or a DAF. But if you do that, you have to tell me because we don't make those 4-wire unless somebody asks for it. So if you Thruxton, DAF, or Super 8, and that's just kind of an output / tone sort of consideration, whichever one you want the most. And then just tell me, hey, I need these 4-wire because those 3 pickups usually come with stainless braid wire. So just tell me and I'll put 4-wire on it. No charge, no big deal. But I'll just do that for you. Can you give an honest opinion on post-2017 Fender Telecasters? I'm looking for a new, but so many variations. Looking for that typical twang spank sounds. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So here's what I would do. I don't know what your budget is. Okay, so we didn't talk about budget. Um, but the American guitars, this is the way I would buy a Fender. Okay, especially a Telecaster. Buy the best line that you can afford. Okay, so if you can afford a classic vibe for $500, $600, whatever they are, if you can afford a made in Mexico one that's $800 or $900, if you can afford any of the American ones, from 1,500 to mine was like 2,200. My favorite Telecaster of all time is the American Vintage 2 because it's like a 63 Telecaster vintage style guitar. Okay. If you really want a traditional style Telecaster, then so first of all, figure out what your budget is and get into the best line that you can. Okay. And then from there, what I would do is basically just pick the model that has the features that most closely resemble what you want. The reason I got the American Vintage 2 is because it most closely mimicked a vintage Telecaster. I've played a lot of vintage Telecasters and it was the closest to that. Basically, the way you buy a Fender is what features you want and what price point you can buy it in. If you're asking me about how good they are, they're all good. They're all good. And if it's not, return it. Okay? Quality control and how good a guitar is kind of a dumb conversation in 2024. If the guitar comes and it's not good, return it. Get a good one. Beyond that, buy the best guitar that you can afford line-wise, like we talked about, budget-wise, get the best one you can afford, and then pick it by feature. That's what I would do. And just decide, I want 3 saddles. If we're going for ultimate tele-twang, all right, so we want no noiseless pickups, so your Ultra is out. We want 3 saddle bridge, so the Performer, I think, is the one with the 6 saddle bridge. So you kind of just have to go through it and look at the pictures and just be like, all right, this one's got a 3 saddle bridge, but this one's got noiseless pickups in it. Okay, I don't want that one. And just start looking at the pictures until you decide what you want. And it comes in the color you want. It comes in the color I want. It comes in this bridge that I want. And it comes in the pickups that I want. That's what I care about when I buy one. And I don't want any push-pull stuff on a Tele. I don't want any S1 switch. I don't want any of that crap. I just want the oldest, fashionist one you can get. So the classic vibe for $600. The Vintera, if they make that, they do, right? Still, in the Vintera line for the Mexican ones, and then the American Vintage 2 in the most expensive one. That's what I would get. Yeah, that's what I would get. Practice while watching hockey, dude. That's the way to jam right there. I love the first American Professional Series Telecaster. I bought it made in America, and the bridge was 10.1 and the neck was 8.2. Interesting. Yeah, that's pretty hot, actually. 4-way switch on a Tele is almost mandatory. We do a lot of them. We build, because we build those drop-in kits, and we sell a lot of those. Probably, a dozen a week, probably. What's the deal with Tele Deluxe pickups? Why are the screws staggered the way they are? They're not staggered. There's 6 screws in there on each coil. Only 3 of them are showing. I don't know. You'd have to ask Seth Lover. But there's actually 6 in there. There's not just 3. Looking for a basic Tele Keith Richards vibe. Okay, so if you're on a budget and you want to do the Keith Richards thing, go get one of those blonde classic vibes and Keith Richards it. We have a video on that because we Keith Richards the guitar before. we have a video on that. I could make you a loaded pick guard. Uh, I can make you a whole setup for that. Yeah, that'd be awesome. The macabre kind of deal. Yeah, that'd be cool. Let's see. I hope you managed to dodge the escape monkeys in the low country of South Carolina. I have no idea about that. Apparently, I did dodge them because I didn't hear about it. I very much get into my cave of pickup making and video making and dog poop cleaning lately. That's pretty much been it. We've been just hammered with life. It's been busy. Yeah. 5 saddles is the Keith, isn't it? Yes. So you on a Keith, yes. So you would actually want a 6 saddle bridge. But what I would do with that guitar is I would actually buy the classic Vibe one, and then I would buy a different bridge. Because you would take the 5th saddle off, and it's gold actually. And actually his is brass. So, but you probably won't be able to get a brass one. So what I would do is just buy a normal classic Vibe and then buy a gold bridge off of Amazon and remove one of the saddles. That's what I would do. Where's the puppy tonight? He's I'll show you. I have the ability to show you where the puppy is. He is right there in his crate. He is upside down. Let me see if I can zoom in. He is upside down with his feet up in the air and his ear hanging out. That's him right there. Yep. So there you go. There's the puppy. Let's see. I made a macabre from a Mexican telly last winter, and I love it. Yeah, dude, that's cool, man. I dig that a lot. Yeah, I dig that a lot. Yep, he's super cool. He's a super cool dog, man. Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, Dog Talks Tone. That's what I've been putting on Instagram. Yep. All right. You shouldn't be having video problems. We're cranking tonight. I couldn't find a vintage style bridge already modded on a used American. Yeah, so I think when you do a macabre, you'll have to piece some things together. Because that bridge is off of a different guitar. And so you'll have to, yeah, you'll definitely have to piece some things together. Whereas Leslie, she is in Las Vegas. She has a speaking engagement and a trade show this weekend. So, yep. Well, cool. I'll tell you what. Let's do some off-topic stuff, shall we? Hang on. I don't know why this is. Whoops. There we go. I was in the wrong thing all night. All right. So here's how this works. We're going to do off-topic hour. You can ask any question you want. We'll probably answer it. No religion, no politics. Um, and if you want to ask a guitar question after 9 o'clock, you have to use the super chat. That's how it works. And we'll go for as long as you want, talking about whatever. Um, and yeah, that's it, man. So this is our off topic has been training the dog. And I've been meaning I was gonna start crate training him, and I was trying to decide how I was gonna start crate training him, and so we ended up buying an impact crate this week, and I came in yesterday, and he's taken to it. He loves it, so it's gonna be pretty easy. But we have to do that because I've got to. I don't want to say accelerate, but potty training a puppy is really a pain in the butt. And before I have to replace all the carpet in my house, I really need to get a handle on it. So he's doing good. We're to the point now where we gotta lengthen it, right? You gotta. He knows to go outside, like he goes to the back door, so he knows. But we don't have a fence yet, and so that's a whole thing. And because since the hurricane, we don't have a fence yet. And then the other thing is just getting the longevity in it. Like he still wants to go outside like every hour to go to the bathroom, and he pees like a freaking fire hydrant, like will not stop. But anyway, so no, it's good. But the crate training's really accelerating that, so that's pretty cool. Dylan sounds tired. I am tired. What's in the rocks glass? This is Avion Reposado Tequila. Let's see. Okay, so hang on. Let me go back here. Yeah, Evian Reposado Tequila, and then I have some sparkling water right there. Off topic. Will the Yankees do better next season? They didn't do terrible this season. The only downside with them was I just didn't feel. Well, first of all, they weren't hitting, but their bullpen was a little wonky. So, I was bummed out that they didn't win. But I also, every time they go to the World Series, I buy a World Series cap. So I've got, from 1996 till now, I have all of them. And, yeah. So it was cool for the first time in 15 years or whatever to buy a new Yankee cap. Like, I think that's awesome. So I was bummed out, but at the same time, I wasn't, Leslie recharges him. She does, man. And when she's at a trade show, I do not hear from her. Like, she is running her butt off. She will not tell you this. She will not brag about this. I will brag about her because I love her. She's amazing. She has a pretty cool job. I'd say she went to speak at a trade show. She sent me a picture of herself with her name and picture on the marquee. Like, she ain't nobody. She's not nobody. You know what I mean? She has a fan club, apparently. People wanting to take their picture with her and stuff. She will never brag to you about this, but I think it's really neat. It's something that she's been working towards, this position that she has and this thing that she does. With digital accessibility and software. She's very passionate about it, helping people with disabilities. She's very, very passionate about it. A lot of because of me, and our life with my stuff, but also she's just very passionate about it. So it's really a neat thing for her, and I'm very, very happy for her. So I love the fact that she has been able to do that. Let's see. Yeah, Aaron Judge literally dropped the ball, and it was ridiculous. Dogs are den instinct animals, so they seem to like kennels under the right circumstances. Under the right circumstances, but no matter what crime they commit, the kennel has to be allowed to be an amnesty zone. Exactly. Yes, that's exactly right. And so, um, that's why I'm not actually even closing him in it right now, and I put a bed that he's been sleeping on for the last since I've got him in there, and he just knew. It's like he just immediately knew. As soon as I set it up last night, he like immediately knew, and just went in there and laid down. And so he's been, and I'm trying to ingrain the bed command into this with him. Um, so this is working. It's very cool. That uh, we'll see how it goes over the next few days. But I'm very very happy with it. He's doing very well. Um, mm, let's see. I am trying to go through here and see what. Why can't we buy sport vans and sport wagons anymore? That's a great question. I was actually just looking. I I was just looking at an Audi wagon the other day. Um, I actually have a new Audi on order, but I don't know if I'm gonna do it now because I got this freaking huge dog. Um, you sound so proud of her. Oh, I am. She's incredible. She's incredible. Leslie is. She's incredible. We've been married for 12, going on 12 years, and she's my best friend, man. Um, she's awesome. She is awesome. We've never fought. I don't know that in 12 years we've ever raised our voice at each other. We just don't. We just are just. It's cool. It's scary how cool it is. It's so funny. People will literally like. People are literally like, especially online, like people in the comment sections over the years, and people on other social media. Um, will be like, "You guys must be faking it." And I'm like, "We're not, man. Come and hang out any day of the week. Like, we are not faking it. It's so fun." Yeah, she's awesome. She's super awesome. Let's see. Oh, the other thing, that crate looks like a bomb shelter. Yeah, so I'll tell you why I got that. Um, Weimaraners are really high energy dogs, and they're big chewers, really active mouths, even when they're adults. I had a couple of neighbors that had them, and so this crate, uh, it's like he can't hurt himself. Like a normal wire crate, a lot of times really chewy dogs will hurt their teeth and stuff because they'll, where this thing is structured in a way, and um, the front door on it is double walled, and so it's like a sort of like a shadow box. So it gives them some. It's like a anti-anxiety too. It gives them like privacy almost, and he loves it. Like today, I shut it for. I've been doing. I said I didn't shut the door, but I've been shutting it for 15 minutes or 20 minutes at a time, just getting him used to it so he's not scared of it. And if he wakes up, I'll only shut it when he's awake. I don't shut it when he's asleep because I want him to see that I'm shutting it so that he's not startled by it. And I'll shut it, and he'll like look up, and he'll look, and he'll just kind of see what he can see, and then just go right back to sleep. Like he just, it's really neat. Um, Audi wagon love, yeah. So I have a Audi RS3 on order right now. Um, it's supposed to come in February, but I don't know if I'm going to do it. What does Leslie do? She works for a software company. Um, she doesn't do IT. She works for a software company. She is the director is not the right word, but her team. She has a team that um, takes care of digital accessibility and makes sure that this software that they develop, it's a huge company. It's like a $3 billion company. She's like employee number 30, like a long time ago. Um, she's been there for 10 years, I think. Um, but this this company didn't even have this department, and so she literally wrote the job description, did all the proposals, like made her own job, and now she went and got all the certifications for it. There's only a few thousand people in the world, I think, that have, well, in this country, that have this certifications for it. She's certified with the Homeland Security. She's certified to work for all the different government agencies, all that stuff. Like it's really neat. But basically, what it is if you can, for example, the example I always use is there was a lawsuit um, where somebody who was blind was trying to order Domino's pizza, and the website wouldn't allow them to do it, and so they got sued. Um, I know of a knife company that recently got sued because their website was not accessible, and so she makes sure that what they do is accessible, and then she meets with all the companies that are the customers all over the world because they have different standards for this and different security standards and all that kind of stuff. It's nuts. It's really cool, actually. Um, so yeah. And what does Leslie do at a trade show? So she speaks. She speaks. She talks about what she does and what their software does and how it can integrate into, and honestly, she's kind of an evangelist for digital accessibility as a whole, because there are a lot of companies don't realize how important it is. It's very important for the digital world to catch up. It's kind of like the ADA. It's kind of like handicap stuff for the internet. And so there's a lot of companies that don't understand the importance of it. And so she's kind of, I don't want to say an evangelist for it, but she's very passionate about it. And so she'll go and speak and say, this is why it's important. This is why your company should have these features. This is why blah, blah, blah. Yeah, she's pretty super smart. What company do you work for, Jay? She works for an e-learning software company. I'll tell you that she works for an e-learning software company, and it is not Adobe. If you know what that is, because there's only one other one, then you will know. Yeah, and I've retired twice already and then got sucked back into stuff. I retired when I was 31 and kind of got sucked back in. But I love it though. I love what I do. Let's see. Our two dogs have kennels. They are always open and they go in them whenever they want. No need to close the doors anymore. It's their safe space. Yeah, I think that's what's so cool about it, man. Dude, Tennessee is incredible. Um, I'll tell you where you should, if you're looking at moving to Tennessee. Um, I was up there a couple years ago when we were living on the road. and I was building pickups for John Cruz. Um, his shop is in Central Tennessee, and there is a geographic feature in Central Tennessee called the Cumberland Plateau, and it's like 3,000 foot elevation, where the rest of Tennessee is at sea level. So it's when it's 100 degrees in Knoxville and it's 100 degrees in Nashville, it's only like 75 or 80 degrees on the Cumberland Plateau. And the trees are all beautiful. It's beautiful there. And it's super cheap to live there. Yeah. We looked at houses up there and everything. It's beautiful. But I ended up not needing to spend much time up there because John Cruz ended up being, well, he ended up being not in business anymore. So there you go. Is Hickok 45 in Tennessee? That would make sense. That would make sense. I've always wanted a range like that. Not like that. I'd rather have a range like Honest Outlaw has. That would be great. His new one, 500 yards. That'd be sick. That'd be sick. The longest range I have around here is 200, and it's just not long enough. I've got stuff I'd like to shoot out to 5 and 8, and I don't have anything long enough. Sorry, but none of Tennessee. Yeah, okay, you're right. None of it's at sea level, but the Cumberland Plateau is way higher. It's like, I think it's like 2,000 or 2,500 feet higher or something. Don't don't look it up, obviously, for yourself. Thanks, Tim, for pointing that out, because you're right. What can you tell about the John Cruz thing, or is that like an NDA? No, my NDA is up. Plus, he's not in business anymore. Yeah, I'll tell you exactly what happened. So this is kind of guitar related, but we're in off-topic hour, and it's no big deal. Basically, when he got fired from Fender, he started John Cruz Custom Guitars, and his guy, one of his partners at the time, he's not one of his partners anymore, because nobody is, called me and said, would you like to build the pickups for the John Cruz stuff? We watch your channel all the time. And I'm like, what? That's crazy. And I tried to say no, but they really wanted me. So they're like, well, we're going to build these special edition 50 guitars. I signed an NDA, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I went up there. I was there for 3 months with all of his guitars, and we did all the R&D and got the guitars all built, or got the pickups all built and did all that stuff. And that's actually how I met the guys from Casino, because they were a dealer, and so I ended up hanging out with them a bunch, and that's how I became friends with the guys from Casino, and now I'm still friends with them. And I met a bunch of other people, guys that used to work at Fender, and some other custom shop guys that used to work at Fender, and so it was really cool. I got to meet a lot of people, got to play a lot of really cool guitars. Anyway, so I built the first 50 Strats and Tele pickup sets for him. And then I built probably 50 or 75 guitars worth more after that. I think a total of maybe like 120 guitars, something right in there, total. And then he ghosted me. And it was a weird deal because, I had to sign this NDA, and there's a whole promise of, oh, we're gonna, all ships will raise, and we're gonna tell everybody that you're making our pickups, and it's gonna be awesome for you, for your business, for everything. They never told anybody. And when it came out in Premier Guitar, it was like, John Cruz designed these pickups, and I'm like, bullshit, you did not. Um, I did from scratch. And not to brag, but I'm just going to brag. I got it right on the first try. They were awesome. They are awesome. So, um, yeah, that was it. Mm. It's gossip related, guitar adjacent. That's awesome. Well, moral of the story, don't post memes about killing people on your social media attached to your name and workplace. Yeah, I mean, you could say what you want uh, about all that. It was a whole thing, man. It was. I know what happened with all that, and I don't want to tell somebody else's business too much, but what I will say is sometimes a company, sometimes a company will take advantage of a climate to meet their own ends. And that is what happened with John. Um, he is not, yeah, he posted a stupid meme, but everybody has posted a stupid meme. Um, I'm not condoning what he did, but I'm just saying, you know, he who casts the first stone, right? But I think sometimes a company will use a climate in a period in time, a snapshot in time, to to fulfill their own agenda and what they need to do, and I think that's what they did. Yeah. Um, but I hope you didn't get burned on the money side. I almost did. But I don't get burned on money. Never. You don't mess with my money. Um, it's one of them things where I'm not, you know. So, like for example, one of you, I don't know who, maybe you're watching right now, maybe you're not, sent their telly to a tech to have some pickups put in it that they bought from me, and the tech or whomever, the customer or whomever, or the tech, I don't know, somebody ruined it. Like it they ruined it. Um, so I just made him a new one. You know what I mean? Like that's the right thing to do. Yeah, I could say this isn't my fault. You need to buy a new one. And he actually offered to buy a new one, but I think because of that, he's like, "Do you want me to pay for a new one?" I'm like, you know what? Just because you offered, no, don't pay for a new one. I'm gonna make you a new one. No, let's just be cool about it. So I'm not saying that I'm like a money hungry freak or anything because I love doing things for people. But when it comes to a business situation, I'm pretty relentless on that stuff. Yep. Let's see. Yeah, and I'm not enemies with anybody. I mean, I I'm grateful. It's happened to me before. I had another guitar company that I was building stuff for, and they went out of business. Um, and that one, I did get screwed. I got screwed out of a bunch of money, and but I'm still not bitter about it because, uh, I don't know. It might have been 3 or 4 thousand bucks, right? Like, in the grand scheme of life, yeah, it sucks at the time. That's a lot of money, especially 8 years ago when that happened. I wasn't this busy, so I felt that. However, out of that relationship, from that guy, this is what I like to look at. Who did I meet as a result of that guy that ended up kind of screwing me? I met, um, I mean, countless people. Um, and and now I'm super grateful for all those relationships that I still have, you know. Um, and so I don't look at the world like that, like I got screwed. I mean, there are things that have happened when I was in the dirt bike business. We came out with a CDI box for Yamaha Rhino that was it made a Yamaha Rhino go like 15 miles an hour faster, and you could adjust the rev limiter, and you could do all this stuff with it, right? In the CDI box. So we sent the money um, to China to have them all prototyped, and they sent us a prototype, and it was good because all this stuff's made in China. Sent them 20 grand. They send me a pallet of CDI boxes. They don't work. I'm out. Like, so stuff happens, you know. Do I know how to do that better now in 2024? Yeah, absolutely. I don't get screwed on that stuff anymore, but you know, you learn lessons, and you just learn from the people that you did business with. And I don't look at the world in a super cynical way like that, you know. Let's see. Oh, money is important. Yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong. I like making money. But it's not for the sake of the money itself. It's I so this is my ninth business. I started my first business when I was 17. Um, Started a detailing business. Ended up with a government contract. Super crazy. 17 years old. Um, and I love building the business. I love the work. I love the I love the risk. The risk is the wrong word. I love the dedication of the game. Um, I love managing all the things and keeping, the people that spin the plates on the sticks. That's what I feel like, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I love doing it all. Um, and I like building it. Like, for the most part, most of my businesses that I've had, I've built them up and sold them. But this one I'm keeping, obviously, got my name on it. This is the one that I'm going to take off into the sunset with me. But I love it. I really enjoy figuring it out. Okay, I'll give you a small example of that. Um, I invested a lot of money this year in the shop. We bought those lasers. We set up the whole shop, and those really haven't made any money for me yet. Um, so we're still on the investment side of that, right? So you're talking 10 or 15 thousand bucks, right, to get all that stuff set up. And I I haven't really made any money with them yet. I know there's potential is there, and it's a matter of figuring out what hits and what doesn't. Playing with pickup designs, playing with pick guards, playing with all these kind of things, right? Playing with, making pickup flat work, all this stuff. And so, for example, we're doing these drops that come out every Saturday, and sometimes they bomb, and sometimes they hit, and we sell a bunch of them, right? Like Paisleys go real well. This gun filigree stuff is going really well. The camo stuff flopped, which I thought it wouldn't because it's really cool. Um, I thought there's a few ideas that I thought would do good, and they didn't. And that's the game. That's part of it. That's figuring it out. And one of these days, we're going to put something up there on a Saturday, and it's going to blow up. And all those lasers are going to pay for themselves. And that's what I'm waiting on. And I'm willing to put the work in every week to make sure that that happens. And it's so fun. That's what I love. And the money comes when you do that. So I don't really worry about that. it's on the creative side again. We're talking about the creative side. Super fun. No, when I was 17, I had a vehicle detailing business. And I lived in a town with a bunch of government fleets, GSA vehicles, and we ended up. I'm Native American, so I was on a reservation out west, and they had I don't know, it was like 80 cars or something in these 2 GSA fleets, and so I got a government contract to keep their cars clean. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. Guitar guys don't want to blend in. What's really funny about that is you would think so, but you make some flashy stuff and people get mad. There are people in the comment section lately like, you need to go back to just making regular pickups. This stuff is cheesy, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you must be really exciting at parties because I, I, I mean, are you like, I don't know. Guy probably drives like a gray Ford Taurus and wears some cream khaki pants and some white New Balances, and his wife's name is Kathy. You know what I mean? Like, or Karen. Yeah, I'm sure that's whoever that guy is. You're like, yeah, okay, whatever. Well, you guys, ignore those people. Oh, I do. Yeah, I do. They're not the ones paying the bills. You are. Everybody that comes and hangs out with us every week. I'm so grateful for it to be doing this. 11 years later, this is really, really cool. So, but my dog is probably hungry. Last night, he was throwing the bowl around the kitchen. It was hilarious. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and feed him and get the other one out and feed him. Feed them both. And finish this movie I'm watching. You guys are awesome, man. Thanks for hanging out. And I guess we will see you in the next couple days, probably.